make of the Conor Benn business that's been going on then? What's your take on that?
My take on that is very simple. If you think you have to take any kind of performance enhancing whatever to increase or be a better fighter or whatever it is he seems to think he may or may not have done, then I believe that he's been caught not once but twice, then take his licence away. Because you have to send the right message out to the rest of the people that are out there.
I don't know what's going on with him and his personal life. You know, that's on him. You know, I'm minding the business that pays me. That's my business.
Conor Benn. His world collapsed after he got arrested after failing drug tests third time, and right before a possible rematch with Chris Eubank Jr., this bombshell hit. Police stepping in set the boxing world on fire. Instead of fight hype, Ben is drowning in shame, while Eubank's stock just keeps rising.
When you fail his drugs test, you don't get 50-50 split.
No. No matter commercial power pulling, no.
You don't get 50-50 split if you fail a drugs test.
And Duke McKenzie didn't hold back, tearing into Ben's excuses. Duke McKenzie hits the nail on the head. Conor Benn giving up his license is as good as admitting guilt. Once is a mistake, twice is suspicious, but 3 times? That's career-ending. Right before a rematch with Chris Eubank Jr., this scandal destroys Ben's credibility while Eubank looks cleaner, stronger, and ready to take center stage.
He's done. Now, the fact that he's given back his licence to the British Boxing Board of Control, who in my opinion are the best governing body in the world, bar none, it's kind of like a proof of admission, certainly. And for him to do what he's done, you know, they're talking about contamination, right? So if you've done it once, then you got caught out, then you do it again. It can't be contamination, can it? Because he's been caught twice for doing the same thing. So if it was me, take his licence away.
Johnny Nelson couldn't hide his shock, calling for an immediate inquiry into Conor Benn's disaster. The news hit like wildfire across the sport. While Benn sinks deeper into scandal, Chris Eubank Jr. stands tall, untouched, and more marketable than ever. Imagine the contrast, one man giving excuses, the other preparing for greatness.
There is going to be, there needs to be an inquiry straight after this, why, what. But that's what I'm hearing.
Chris Eubank Jr. makes it crystal clear he doesn't need Conor Benn to define his greatness. The offer's on the table, but if Benn keeps drowning in scandal, Eubank moves on without a scratch. Fans see the difference, Benn in handcuffs, Eubank in control, one career collapsing, the other climbing.
That's not a message. The offer's been sent, and you know, you either take it or leave it. And if you leave it, then I'm going to be great either way.
Is it done forever if this is a no this time?
I'm not going to say that. You know, the fight's never done forever. As long as we're still breathing, and the fight is going to be of interest to us.
And then Eddie Hearn stepped in, trying to defend Benn with a plea for patience. Eddie Hearn sounds like a desperate man clinging to a sinking ship. Calling Benn innocent after 3 failed tests feels laughable to most fans. Boxing isn't buying it. No one's protecting Benn's shattered image. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't need excuses or sympathy. His discipline speaks louder than any promoter's spin.
Truth. And when you see the facts, I believe that Conor Benn is innocent. Maybe it's because he's my mate, and maybe it's because you back your mates. Maybe it's because I've seen more than you've seen, both in his eyes and on the paper. But all I'm saying is, give him an opportunity, right, for things to be heard. And in this situation, someone said the other day that sometimes when you fail a drugs test, it's not innocent till proven guilty, it's guilty till proven innocent. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really make sense. But his case has to be heard, and everybody deserves a chance to have their case to be heard.
Duke McKenzie hits a raw nerve, calling Conor Benn's disgrace a slap in the face to his legendary father. Nigel Benn built his name with blood, sweat, and respect, and now his son drags the Benn legacy through the mud with repeated drug failures. Fans see the shame. It's not just about Conor, it's about a name once feared in British boxing being tarnished. Chris Eubank Jr. must be laughing inside. Not only has he stayed clean, but he now has the moral high ground in their rivalry. While Ben hides behind excuses and promoters' protection, Eubank's reputation only grows. The scandal didn't just kill a fight, it damaged a family's pride.
It's just wrong, in my book. You know what? I also think that, you know, what he's done, it's like a slap in the face for his dad.
Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver echo what most of the boxing world is thinking. No more chances for Conor Benn. Failing once could be brushed off, twice raises questions, but 3 times? That's career suicide. Gonski sums it up perfectly. This isn't just about punishment, it's about protecting the sport. If fighters believe they can cheat and get away with a slap on the wrist, then boxing's integrity is finished. Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't need shortcuts. He thrives on discipline and resilience. That's why fans are rallying behind him, while Ben becomes the symbol of what's wrong with modern boxing. A rematch? At this stage, it looks like Eubank versus Ben is nothing more than a fantasy, because Ben is finished.
Yeah, listen, I've always been strong on that. I've always been strong on the fact that I don't believe in giving them a second chance.
You're basically saying, no 3 strikes and you're out.
No 3 strikes
and you're out.
No.
1, you fail the test and gone ski.
Absolutely, because I just believe then that moving forward, people would think twice about doing it. If they think, well, you know what, I'll get a second chance anyway, you know, I might get...
Frank Warren lays it out bluntly. The Eubank versus Ben fight is a non-runner. The legal battles, the failed tests, the circus around Ben, it's all too much. What could have been one of Britain's biggest rivalries has been poisoned by scandal. Fans wanted a classic throwback war, but instead they've been served headlines about arrests and lawsuits. Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't need this mess to prove himself. He can step into the ring with clean opponents and still deliver massive nights. Ben, meanwhile, has turned into boxing's problem child. The penny has well and truly dropped. This isn't a rivalry anymore. It's a tragedy.
Let the penny drop that the fight could never go forward. And some of the stuff that's come out since about people being, you know, the board being sued and something, and so forth, is just a non-runner. It's crazy. I mean, the fact.
And Duke McKenzie didn't pull punches either, exposing just how overrated Ben really is. Duke McKenzie absolutely tears down the myth of Conor Benn. He's not a massive puncher, not even at welterweight, yet he was shouting about knocking out Chris Eubank Jr., a man who's proven his chin against some of the toughest names in the division. That's delusion, not confidence. In their fight, Ben's performance exposed the truth, head down, swinging wildly, with no precision or respect for the man in front of him. Compare that to Chris Eubank Jr., sharper defense, disciplined movement, and calm under pressure. McKenzie is right, Ben mugged himself off by trying to play the tough guy. The truth is, he's not Nigel Benn, not even close. His father built a legacy on respect, grit, and clean wars in the ring. Conor, on the other hand, has thrown his career into chaos with scandals and arrogance. Eubank doesn't just have the edge, he's the one carrying the Benn name on his back now by exposing how fake the son really is.
His style, Conor Benn. Conor Benn's not a massive puncher, not even at welterweight, so really, he's kind of mugged himself off a little bit by saying, I'm going to knock this guy out. He didn't give Eubank enough respect. Like I say, he was throwing shots at several points in that fight, and he wasn't even looking where they were going. It was just like head down, just winging the shots over.
Stephen A. Smith sums it up perfectly. The sport deserves honesty, not smoke and mirrors. When you step in the ring, fans expect 2 men on the same level, both relying on talent, training, and discipline, not shortcuts. That's why Conor Benn's scandal stings so badly. His repeated failed drug tests mean we never truly saw his real ability. Was his power natural? Were those explosive performances genuine? Fans feel cheated, exactly as Stephen A. says. Contrast that with Chris Eubank Jr., who's never had a failed test, never hid behind excuses, and has built his career on grit and resilience. That's why supporters respect him more now than ever. While Ben's credibility is in tatters, Eubank looks like the fighter fans can trust to bring boxing's magnificence back to center stage. The bottom line is this: if Ben ever steps back into the ring, the cloud of suspicion will always hang over him. But Eubank, he's clean, proven, and ready for the spotlight.
Very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
Adam Booth paints the picture of what really went down. Eubank Jr.'s legs may have looked heavy, but his boxing IQ carried him through, while Ben relied on grit and desperation. Sure, Booth admits Ben showed heart, but heart doesn't erase the drug cloud hovering over his career. The question fans keep asking is how much of Ben's power, speed, and resilience was down to natural ability, and how much was helped. That's why people aren't convinced when analysts talk about him being better the second time. Better how? Clean this time? Or better because of another shortcut? Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't need excuses. He adapts, fights through adversity, and proves he belongs on the big stage. If there ever was a second fight, Ben wouldn't be entering as the proud son of a legend. He'd be stepping in as the disgraced fighter with everything to prove, while Eubank would carry the aura of respect.
Box anymore, because his legs weren't working. He was throwing a lot of shots, but nothing had any real power or snap because he didn't have it in him. And so he couldn't force his size advantage on Ben. And
Tony Bellew calls it straight. The Eubank versus Ben rematch shouldn't even happen. And he's right. How can anyone justify a fight when Ben's stamina, engine, and even his mindset are all under question, not to mention his failed tests? Boxing isn't just about throwing punches, it's about honor, endurance, and proving yourself through clean wars. Chris Eubank Jr. has ticked every one of those boxes. He's gone 12 hard rounds, shown his durability, and fought with pride. Ben, on the other hand, is a mystery clouded in controversy. Can his body last? Can his mind cope? Or will he crumble the moment the pressure hits? Bellew points out what fans already know. Even if Ben could physically show up, mentally and morally he's not fit for this rematch. The fight is dead before it even starts, because the credibility gap between these two men has become a canyon.
Cannot happen.
We don't know what stamina and what engine he's got in him. Really.
It's not about the stamina and the engine, it's more about the thought process and gaining that experience of being there and doing it. Okay. It's like when you go into your first 12 rounder, no matter how fit you are.
Conor Benn's collapse has changed everything. Once seen as the fiery son carrying his father's name into the future, he's now the fighter fans don't trust, the man with a cloud hanging over every performance. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. is walking into the spotlight cleaner than ever, his discipline and resilience making him the fan favorite. If Eubank wins in a rematch, he doesn't just beat Ben, he buries the scandal once and for all and takes control of the Ben versus Eubank legacy. But if Ben somehow shocks the world, it won't silence the doubters, it'll only fuel more questions. Was it clean? Was it real? Was it earned? This rivalry is no longer just about punches, it's about who boxing believes in. So I'll ask you, are you backing Chris Eubank Jr. to finish this saga once and for all? Or do you think Conor Benn can rise from the ashes and prove everyone wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.